So starting lying on our backs, just taking a moment to settle in to our bodies, into our breath, closing down the eyes. And recognizing that our yoga practice is a bridge, building bridges between our inner world and our outer world. Unlocking anything from a spiritual perspective must happen from the inside out. So we step onto our mats, we lie on our mats, we cultivate connection to our inner world through the avenue of physical shapes, breath, body. Just taking one more breath with your eyes closed. And when you are ready, begin to invite gentle, mindful movement into fingers, toes, hands, and feet. A little movement through your pelvis, your shoulders, your necks. And speaking of bridges, let's begin with bridge. So grounding into the four corners of the feet. Take a moment to touch your heels with your peace fingers to make sure that you have good alignment. And then when you're ready, tuck your tailbone, energizing through your core. And on your inhalation, lift arms overhead as the pelvis floats. And on your exhalation, ripple your way back down. So just creating some proprioception, some connection back to the body. Exhaling to gently ease our way down. Let's just do two more. So anchoring through the tailbone, lifting. And on the exhalation, placing the spine down through the upper, middle, the lower, and the tailbone. One more time, ripple your way up. Awakening posterior chain, awakening the back of the body. And on the exhalation, just gently ease your way down one vertebra at a time. Gather the knees. And please move the knees in opposition 3 times, one direction. And gently reversing the direction the other way. And when you're ready, a gentle rock up and down, taking a couple if it feels good. And once you've arrived at the top, let's bring the hands back behind us and our feet wide. A gentle tip from side to side, creating external and internal rotation through that beautiful ball and socket joint of the hip. And variation 1, just stay with this option. Variation 2, if it feels accessible and therapeutic, lifting on the in-breath and exhaling to gently spiral down and around. So mindfully moving. Let's do one more each direction. Lifting, opening front body, strengthening through side and back body, melting your way down. Last time, energize and open before gently easing our way back down. Either swinging the legs behind you or crossing over the knees if the body will allow. One happy cat to open front body. Exhale, raise the roof, tuck the chin, and look towards your navel center. Neutralize, take the hands forward a little bit, and let's move into our first down dog. So hand-shoulder distance, feet hip distance. Creating a little bit of movement, clearing cobwebs, releasing tension, and then finding your stillness. Bend your knees as much as you need to, spreading through fingers, spreading through toes as we tuck the chin and look between the knees. Finding one more deep, deliberate breath in as we lift the tips of the toes. Exhale, bend your knees, prepare, look where you're going. Before stepping or hopping to the top of your mat, lift and lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Heel toe, do-si-do, your feet nice and wide. Taking Malasana with your elbows supporting you, or your fingertips coming a little bit lower. If it's possible, back of the hands find the earth. And on your inhalation, let's just open through the right arm. Exhaling to gently release, long spine. Full breath in, creating a little bit of rotation. Exhale to softly land the back of your hand. One more time, spiral your way up and open, gently returning mindfully. Last one, spread your wings wide before gently releasing the hand to the back. Ground your hands, lift your hips, parallel your feet. Take one breath in before gently exhaling to forward fold. Bend your knees a lot so you can spinal roll your way up to standing. Your head is the last part of your spine to rise before the hands reach overhead. Hands home to our heart center, Samastitihi. So big toes touching, heels separated, coming into your Surya Namaskar. On the in-breath, reach and rise. On the exhalation over, we go into our forward fold. On the in-breath, hands to shins or fingertips to floor before we step or hop, lowering through chaturanga on knees or toes. Taking a baby back bend shape or an up dog before we lift ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Breathing in, spread your fingers, spread your toes, connecting to your inner world. Finding a little bit more length through the arms, through the legs, through the spine. And then internally really connecting with your strength and your breath. On your next in-breath to the tips of the toes, you'll go. Exhale, bend your knees, prepare. Walking or hopping will lift and lengthen. Exhaling into our forward fold. Strong foundation through your feet, through your legs, through your glutes, through your core. Before exhaling, hands home to Samastitihi. Building our flow, circle and sweep as the breath comes in. On the exhalation, easing your way over into your forward fold, release your head and shoulders last. On the in-breath, hands to shins or fingertips to floor before stepping your left leg way, way, way back. Ground with your left hand to your right thigh, or taking your right hand high. Exaggerate the pressing down in order to lift up, and then find a little tiny bit more length through your left leg as you shift slightly forward for one more deep breath in. On the exhalation, hand to the inside. I'm going to turn my back on you as we come to a wide leg forward fold. Lift the head, lift the heart. And on the exhalation, walk the heels of the hands so they align with the heels of the feet. Spread your fingers. Elbows hug towards the midline. And then press energetically into the outer edges of your feet. Bend your knees as much as you need as we bring just gentle opening through the inner thigh, the hamstring, and the back. One more breath in and out. On the inhalation, hands underneath your shoulders as you lift your heads, your hearts. On your exhalation, turn your toes out and bend your knees a lot. Reach your hands high as we come into horse stance. So we press the knees to the pinky toe side. We tuck the tailbone to lengthen the lumbar spine. And then even though we're reaching high, we're finding relaxation through our shoulders. One more deep breath in and out. On the in-breath, lift and lengthen before turning towards the back of your mat. Left leg leading into our triangle pose. Landing the hand on the thigh, the shin, the ankle. Micro bend your left knee and be really powerful through your legs. Finding lightness and length through the torso. Taking one more deep breath in. On your out breath, look down at your left big toe, bend your left knee deeply, rise and pivot all the way to the front of the mat. Take warrior two. So right knee bending, left leg lengthening, arms spreading until you feel the tips of your fingers come alive. Gazing down the middle fingernail of your right hand, taking two more breaths. One more full breath before we pivot the back heel. We swing the back arm around and we meet in Anjani Asana. Level the pelvis, scoop the belly, tuck your tailbone. Deepen as far as you want as you take one more full breath in And on the exhalation, frame your right foot. Inhale to step to the top of your mat. Lift your head and hearts. Exhale, forward fold. Rise and shine all the way up to your extended mountain. Look to your thumbs. Hands home to the sacred space. Samastitihi. Inhale. So second side as we build and warm the body. Exhaling, leading with the heart. Keep your core strong, please. On the in-breath, lift your heads, lift your hearts, hands to shins or fingertips to floor before stepping way back with your right leg. Right hand on the earth, left hand to the thigh, or reaching high if you don't need the support. Deepen into your left knee, lengthen through your right leg, shift the weight slightly forward. Gazing at your top thumb if your neck will allow. Last two. One more breath that reaches the tips of your fingers. And on the exhalation, hands to the inside of the left foot, pivoting to the long edge of your mat. We lift the head, we lift the heart, we lift the core, and then we pour ourselves back in. Second round, hold your calves, your Achilles, or your heels. Gently use the strength of your arms to draw you in and shift slightly into the balls of the feet to deepen the stretch, but also to really awaken the core. Mula Bandha, pelvic floor lifts and tightens. We scoop the lower belly as well. Last two. One more breath in that opens the back of the body. And then ground the hands underneath your face, your shoulders, lifting on the in-breath. Exhale, turn your toes out, bend your knees really deeply, send your arms high and your hips down low. Tuck your tailbone, finding softness through your faces, through your shoulders, and some intensity in your legs. One more breath as you are before we lift high and prepare for triangle pose to the back of the mat. So lengthen until you feel your end point, then lightly land your hands wherever they feel best to you. We are focusing on rolling the heart open as we strengthen and lengthen the legs. Last 3 breaths. Just keep making all these tiny little micro adjustments. One more breath that stretches the skin across your heart. And on the exhalation, look at your right big toe, bend your right knee, rising up, pivot all the way to the front, and find a warrior 2 with your left knee bending. How long can you make your arms? How powerful can you make your legs? And how mindful can you breathe into this moment? One more full bridge before we transition to Anjali Asana. So pivot your back foot, lift your back heel, send your arms high, and maybe the knee a little lower. Is your pelvis level? Are you tucking your tailbone so you feel your right glute come alive? Take one more breath into the strength of your legs, and then reach forward, frame your foot, stepping to the top of the mat on the in-breath to lift the head, lift the heart. Exhaling, forward fold. Rise and reach. How tall can you grow? Before exhaling to Samastitihi. Last time to build our flow. Inhaling, finding focus, intention. On the exhalation, an element of surrender, but we maintain our internal focus. On the in-breath, hands to shins or fingertips to floor, flat back, before stepping our left leg way back. Grounding with the left, right hand either to the thigh or reaching high, and then flipping that thumb into the curve of the lower back. Roll your hearts open, finding your length, finding your breath for 2 more. On the inhalation, touch the sky. On the exhalation to the inside, we pivot to the long edge of the mat. On your in-breath, really find the length and strength of the body. And on your exhalation, I'd like for you to come into a diver pose. So we're reaching the arms wide into sort of a modified warrior three shape, strengthening the legs as we lengthen the legs. Take 2 more breaths as you deliberately lift a little more through the pelvic floor and through your core. 1 more breath in before releasing the hands, bending the knees and turning the toes out. We'll reach high into horse stance, finding a little bit more length through the spine by tucking the tailbone under. 1 more goodbye breath in before we lift, turn, pivot, and move into Trikonasana. One more breath. On the exhalation, bend deeply, ready, rising all the way up to pivot towards the front of your mat. A warrior two, as we extend through the arms, deepen into the legs. Just 1 more breath before we pivot to Anjani Asana, lunge. Stack the shoulders over the pelvis, tuck your tailbone, finding connection to your breath. 1 more breath in before drawing the hands down the midline of the body. Please stack your heart right above your knee right above your ankle, and then turning so your left elbow finds your right thigh. Press down in order to create the rotation, and then really feel your left leg as we stay and breathe for 2. 1 more breath in. On the exhalation, release the twist, ground your hands, and take a warrior three. So your warrior three might look like this. It might look like this, or if it feels like there's still some freedom to play with, lift that leg a little higher. Option to stay in warrior three, supported, or to move your right hand slightly ahead. Begin to open your pelvis and send your left arm high if your shoulders and your balance will allow. Final variation, we bend into our left leg and we decide whether we might be able to find that ankle. And once we do, we kick the foot into the hand to create a little bit more stability and a little bit more opening through the front of the hip. Staying and breathing for 1 more breath before we gently retrace our steps, release that bind, level off to your warrior three, and release your foot, release your head, release your efforts. Rising all the way up, pressing your palms, looking skywards, your thumbs, hands home to Samastitihi. Last time. Finding your length, finding your breath in. Follow the breath out as we move into our forward fold. On the inhale, hands to shins, fingertips to floor, flat back extension before stepping your right leg way, way, way back. Ground with your right, reach with your left, and then flip the thumb, curve with the lower back. So create rotation through the spine without buckling through the pelvis. And we do that by charging the right leg. Last 2. 1 more breath in. And out on your inhalation, touch the sky with your left hand. On the exhalation to the inside before pivoting to the long edge of your mat. Breathe in, slightly pigeon to your feet. Scoop through your belly and then just test the waters. If this does not feel safe for you, hands can rest on the thighs. And of course, bent knees always on offer. Last 2 breaths. 1 more deep breath in. And on the exhalation, ground your hands, turn your toes out, bend your knees, rising high through the arms, sinking low into the hips. Last 2. 1 more before we move to Trikonasana to the back of your mat. Right leg is leading the way. So right leg is long but not locked. And both feet are powerfully stretching the mat apart. Feel your quadriceps, your hamstrings working with your core. Last 2. One more, please. Before gazing down as you breathe out, rise on the in-breath, turn towards the front of your mat. Find your warrior two. And Vinyasa, coming into your lunge, lift the back heel, lift the hands, level the pelvis, descend. Draw the hands down the midline as we charge the back leg, stacking knee over ankle. Option to take your twist. Right elbow finding left thigh. Press down to lift it up. And then bring just a little bit more length to your back leg. Last two. We unwind the spine, ground our hands, and play with warrior three. So option one, just shift the weight. Variation two, lift a little. And variation three, lift as high as it feels good with your pelvis level. And then that final offer of taking your left hand slightly further forward, roll your pelvis open, send your right arm high. So floating half moon. Final variation, bending into your top leg, treasure hunting, right hand searching for right ankle, kick the foot into the hand, be long but powerful through your standing leg, taking one more full deep goodbye breath in before we gently retrace our way back to a supported warrior three. Release your foot, release your head, release your efforts, and then on your inhalation, come all the way up to standing. Hands home to Samastitihi. Releasing our standing flow, moving into a tiny bit of core cultivation. Let's reach high on the in-breath. And on the exhalation, over we go. Inhale, hands to shins or fingertips to floor before stepping or hopping and freezing in your high plank. Left forearm down, right forearm down. And when you're ready, you're bringing your left knee towards your left tricep as you exhale. Inhale back to your plank. Exhaling to bring right knee towards right tricep. Gently releasing back. Two more. Ready with the left knee. Exhaling. Inhale, return. Pause, reset. One more time. Right knee to right tricep. Lengthen and pause. Left hand, then your right. Send your hips high into your downward facing dog shape. Please inhale to the tips of the toes. On the exhalation, bend your knees. Look at your left pinky finger and step there for me. Breathe high with your left hand coming up. Exhaling to gently release it back to the floor. Just do two more like that. Moving through the hip, moving through the shoulder. One more time. Full breath in and full breath out. Stepping back to plank. Right forearm, left forearm. Breathe in together. And on the exhalation, right knee, right elbow. Gently return on the inhale. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Gently return. Last two. So glutes, core working together with our shoulder stabilizers. One more time. Left knee, left elbow. Gently take it back. Right hand, left hand, down dog. One breath into the tips of the toes. On the exhalation, bend your knees. Look at your right pinky finger. Step there. Sending your right arm high as you breathe in. Exhale to gently lower. Two more. Full breath in. Full breath out. So active shoulder range of motion, static hip opening. And as we ground, we'll press back to our downward facing dog. Variation one, stay in your down dog exactly as you are. Variation two, breathe in. And on the exhalation, see if you can land both forearms at the same time. Inhale back to your down dog. Exhale to gently land the forearms. Last two, full breath in. Full breath out. One more breath in. One more breath out, and we all meet in our downward facing dog. Lift to the tips of the toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Look at your left pinky finger and go there again. As we reach the hand high, we pause and ground into our right knee. Option 1 will stay here with active rotation. Variation 2, you'll bend your right knee and see if you can find that right foot. Sometimes you've got to shift the pelvis back to catch it. Recreate your rotation, and your final variation coming down to your right forearm. So rolling to the pinky toe side of your left foot, spiraling through the spine, all the way through the neck, as we open the hip flexor, the quadricep, staying and breathing for 3, for 2, 1 more full breath in, and on the out breath, looking down, release the foot. Bring your left hand to the inside, right hand returns, and moving into your downward facing dog shape. Ripple your way forward, left forearm, right forearm, breathe in together. On the exhalation, left knee, left elbow. Gently return as we breathe in. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Gently release. Reset, 2 to go. Left to left. Reset. 1 more time, right is right. Before gently releasing here. Left hand, right hand, hips high. Breathe in, staying in down dog or resting in child's pose, or exhale to a forearm plank in a down dog shape. Inhale to lengthen back to your down dog. Exhale, control the descent. Pause. Inhale, press the earth away. Look between your knees. Exhale, gently look between your elbows. 1 more time each way. So inhale. Exhale to control triceps before we push and lengthen. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, look at your right pinky finger, stepping there. Once you've arrived here, take your right arm high and then release your left knee. We can stay right here. Variation 2, bending back leg, treasure hunt begins. And then if it feels like there's some space to work with, we come to the forearm. So creating external rotation through your hip on the right by rolling towards the pinky toe, and then spiraling through the spine, looking over the shoulder if the neck will allow. So feeling hip flexor, psoas major, psoas minor, iliacus, and feeling where our rectus femoris, so one of our quadriceps that also aids in hip flexion, is getting a lot of love. Last 2. 1 more, please, before we gently ease our way up and out of that shape. Stepping back to your high plank. Last time, right forearm, left forearm. Breathe in together. On the exhalation, right is right. Inhale to return. Left leg, exhaling, knee towards the tricep. Release, reset. Last 2. Reset. 1 more. The sweat dripping off my nose, I'm going to call tears of joy. Gently release. Pressing with your right, pressing with your left. Hips high, breath in together. And then let's pause in child's pose, please. So knees wide, big toes together. On your inhalation, please slide your right hand back towards your right knee. And then all I'd like for you to do is create some rotation by pressing down into the right hand. It feels like you're trying to drag your left hand back, but it's not going to move. But by doing that, we really create a little bit more length through the lats, through the left side body. Some love for teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus. 1 more breath. Before we return, the shoulders square. Slide the right hand forward, left hand back. Pressing down into the hands to create rotation. that feeling of dragging your right hand back, but it's not going to move. And then how deeply can you breathe into your right lung? One more breath. Beautifully done. Return the left, shift the weight forward, lifting into your downward facing dog. Your left leg is rising. I'd love for you to bend the knee just for a moment to open through the pelvis, any amount that feels good, before transitioning mindfully to your pigeon pose of choice. We can come to 90-90, or we can lift up and over into pigeon. Take a moment to align the hip, the knee, the ankle on the back foot. Take a breath in to really open through the front body, and then just cascade yourself down on your forearms, reaching your arms long. And just as we did in child's pose a moment ago, I'd like for you to draw your right hand back and just create a little bit of rotation. Pressing down to revolve. Try the other side. So right hand forward, left hand back towards your left knee, and then press into your hands to create a twist. Last two. Release both hands beneath your shoulders, lifting through your heart space, open front body. Take a seat onto your left hip. Bring both legs out in front. One restorative Paschimottanasana as we reach high, energize our legs, but then let the back of the hands find the earth. Let your feet relax. Bend your knees as much as you wish. Let your head release. And invite a gentle, gentle sway from side to side. Just notice what's lighting up in the back body. Is it your hamstrings? Is it the back of the hips? Is it your lower back? Are you feeling it more on one side than the other? So just a loving inquiry, without judging, without being critical of what we're feeling. Just feeling what we are feeling and loving what is, as Byron Katie would tell us. One more breath with movement. And then please find your inner stillness as well as your external stillness. Come back to your breath, back to your body. And yoga has room for all of it. Your head, your heart, your body, your soul, your history. It is all welcome and celebrated here. One more breath before we lift through our heads and our hearts on the inhalation. On the exhalation, we'll sit tall. You could swing your legs around, or if the hips are happy and the knees are happy to cross over, we'll meet in down dog. It is your right leg that's rising when the time is right for you. Bending your right knee to encourage a little bit more hip opening. And when you and your body decide you're ready, you'll transition to your version of pigeon, 90-90, sitting on the hip, or lifting up and over, but take a deliberate moment to check the alignment of the back, hip, knee, and ankle. Please find a breath that opens the front body and lengthens it before we ease our way down to forearms or reaching arms forward. You're welcome to stay as you are, or Sliding left hand towards the left foot and creating that rotation. So rotation through the spine, not through the pelvis. Keep seeking length through your left leg and your right arm. And then we'll gently reverse that direction. So sliding your right hand back, left hand forward, pausing there. And only if it feels good, creating that twist through the spine by pressing into the right hand. Find a little bit more length through your left arm and your left leg. So much sensation to enjoy. Can you just surrender into it for one more breath? And when you're ready, hands beneath you, lifting through the heart space. Take a seat onto your right hip. Bring your left leg around. And we'll just reverse engineer our way out. So at the very beginning of practice, we were doing windscreen wiping with either our hands on the earth or lifting up. So please choose the perfect option for you. And I'd love for you to do just one more each direction, please. Last one. Opening through the left side of the body, the front of the hip, and then melt your way down. And as we begin, we'll roll onto our backs and come into our bridging position. So ground into the four corners of each foot. Touch your heels to check the alignment of your feet. And when you're ready, we tuck the tailbone, flatten the lumbar spine. And then we press down into the feet to lift up using the hamstrings and the glutes and the back extensors. And then just really gently float your way back down through your upper, middle, lower, and tailbone. How smoothly can you perform this movement? And can you let go of any striving to lift higher, to work harder? Exaggerating just the smoothness and the softness of lifting the body away from the earth. And then how gently can you place yourself back down? Just one more. Scoop the tailbone under, feel your lower back flatten, and then lift through the tailbone, lumbar, middle, upper, and then reverse your way out. So slowly, so smoothly, so mindfully. And once you've gently landed, bring the soles of your feet together with your knees wide. Press your feet together gently, and then just let the effort go. Hands underneath your thighs if you need some support, if it feels available for you. Left hand on your heart, right hand on your abdominals. Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you feel the rise and the fall of your breath? Our yoga practice allows us to build bridges between our external world and our inner world. And feelings, emotions, sensations are the language of the body. So can you really tune your inner ear inwards? Listening for the messages from your heart, from your soul. And again, a reminder that the communication of the body is energetic, sensations, emotions, and feelings. Just take 2 more. One more breath into this moment. Before you allow your hands to release to the earth, you allow your legs to slide out. And I'd love for you just to rock so gently through your hips, through your legs. Closing down your eyes. Feel the back of your body land, but most importantly, feel how you are supported, how you are held. And feel the connection that the breath brings from the external to the internal, from the outer edges of our body to the innermost aspects of our soul. And however cliche it sounds, it's true. You are either now, here, or nowhere. Your life is happening here, in this breath. In this breath. In this breath. What can you feel in the now? What can you hear in the now? And what can you see in the now? With your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul aligned and present in the now, we begin to reawaken, deepening our breath, lifting our energy, feeling the outer edge of the body, and inviting gentle, mindful movement through fingers, through toes, through hands and feet, wrists, ankles, shoulders, hips, necks, whatever feels good to your body. And then beautiful yogis, if it feels right for you in this moment, reach your arms overhead. Stretch and lengthen now. And then bend your knees now. Slide your arms down and around now. Gather your knees. Hug yourselves lovingly, like you mean it. Before you rock ever so gently and roll ever so gently to your right hand side, lingering for an intentional breath in the now. Before we rise to a seated position together. Growing tall into the now, bringing our hands to rest at our heart center in Anjali Mudra. Feeling the connection to our inner world. And taking one last unified breath together. closing our practice with a bow. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful yogis. Be present today. It's where your life is happening. Much love, much hope. Namaste.